I'm here with Dr. Joby Bell and Joseph Franklin, both Appalachian State University student and professor, as am I. We are here to talk about the organ and the music merit badge. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start off. Part 1 and 2 discuss the actual machine of the organ. So we can kind of do those like more physically. So I can ask you a question about the keys, you can show off the keys. So we'll go ahead and start with part 3. So, Requirement 3 asks about influential people in American music. As a historian and a student, could you tell us about a legend like John Philip Sousa? Why should a scout today know who they are? And you could use Sousa or you can use someone else.
You would know Sousa better than I would.
I need to do Sousa.
American legends.
For the organ or for music?
Oh, just in general.
In general?
The Pilgrims brought pipe organs with them, believe it or not. And so we've had organists from the beginning when the settlers landed. And our first important organist was probably, well, I have to think about this. That's a tough one. I got to think about this. We get back into the 1700s, and most of them were composers. They were better known for composing than for the organ. But yeah, Sousa would definitely be a legend. I'm trying to think of exclusively American influences. You know, about the only truly American music is jazz. Everything else has been derived from pretty much the European models, the classical models, and then you have the spirituals, which were born in America, but were not really composed by Americans. They were composed by the slaves, but it all happened here on this soil. But jazz is about our only American genre. But as far as legends who actually influenced the organ, I still believe that most of that just came from European models. I really have to think about this for a minute. We do have some fine American pipe organ builders, and we do have some fine composers, but all of those have taken their cues from European models. Maybe at lunch I'll think back to this interview and recoil in horror of some major name that I forgot. But in general, American organ building and American music has taken a lot of its cues from other countries, except in about the 19th, 20th century where American composers really began to come into their own.
Makes sense. Joseph, do you have one?
Don't have anything to add.
I wouldn't be able to
That's a
think of
hard
one.
question.
So. My African American music teacher is going to love the part about jazz. I send him clips whenever I do interviews and we talk about anything like that.
Okay.
I interviewed a scout that lives in Gambia, and he was talking about his music, and I just clipped that and sent it to my professor, and he was going crazy.
Oh, very good. Very good.
So this one is a fun one. So in scouting, we use the bugle to lead troop with signals like taps or revelry. Since you are the voice of the marching mountaineers, how is the organ or the stadium microphone similar to a bugle in the way it leads a crowd?
Oh, well, that the crowd reacts very favorably when I first announce that the band is here. Ladies and gentlemen, what is it, ladies and gentlemen? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to halftime with the Marching Mountaineers. And we hear a good cheer then, even though a lot of people are out getting their hot dog at that point, at halftime. But even at pregame, even though the stadium is not full, even at pregame, I can't remember how that announcement starts. It's something like, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the Hayes School of Music and Appalachian State University are proud to present the Appalachian Marching Mountaineers, and that gets the crowd going. Those things are of universal appeal, and the crowd loves listening to the fight song that charges them up time after time during a game. Of course, the national anthem gets their attention, and even America the Beautiful does. There. How's that?
It's good.
All right.
How would you say specifically the organ does this in a place like church?
In church, the organ can announce the next hymn that everybody's going to stand and sing. Or the organ people probably show their emotions even more at a wedding when the organ announces that the bride is ready to start down the aisles. That usually gets people's attention. Easter is always a big deal, I think. There are some famous organ pieces that people tend to enjoy listening to at Christmas time, Easter. And the organ can make outright imitation of bugle calls.
Yeah.
I can probably talk more about that in a minute. Not that we do that in church, but it's possible. And actually, I have done bugle calls in, say, choir rehearsals to get the choir's attention, to say something like it's time to start. I'll go da 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 dum ba ba, and they'll all say charge, and then I'll say it's time to start.
How would you both describe, because you've also played in church, right? Mm-hmm. How would you both describe your path towards doing that, and then the biggest challenges with doing that, and stage fright or something?
Well, playing for church, I think, is a certain lifestyle that people don't understand when you talk to people that don't do it. It's you're giving up your weekends in service to other people. But I love it. I love what I get to do. And what did you ask? I'm sorry.
Do you have stage fright when you do it? I mean, obviously you probably don't anymore.
Not anymore. When I first started, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that organists tend to turn out to be the most fearless of all music majors, because the organist, shall we say, performs every Sunday morning.
It's fair.
We hate to call that a performance, but the organist has to prepare and play something and play it in front of people. So the organists tend to be the most unflappable of all music majors. And my path to playing for church was the same. I grew up in a church that had a pipe organ in it, and so I was always fascinated by that. But of course, like most kids, I started on the piano, started playing the piano for church with the stage fright, and then eventually all that kind of settled down, and then I made my way to the organ, and it all evolved very, very gradually and very normally and gently. In my case, it was just something I could do, and so I did it, and I still do.
What age would you both say you started playing, well, one, the piano, and then two, the organ?
I took piano lessons starting at 6 to 8, and then picked it back up in 3rd grade, and probably till 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that. And then organ, I started on the organ my 6th grade year, but I actually wasn't playing organ literature until about 8th grade.
I started piano lessons at 8, 6 years. I didn't start organ lessons until college, and then eventually became an organ and piano major in college, and then grad school was all organ.
It's a lot of organ.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing
lot of
piano
keyboards.
maybe 4 years old, but I've never had piano lessons. It's just my grandpa, who's played it for 80 years, just telling me how to do it. Mm-hmm. But I know how to, but I just never practice. Same thing with trumpet. I can play my trumpet. I just don't practice. Okay, so we're gonna take a turn towards the career. So every merit badge basically has a part at the end where it tells a scout to research into career. And that's a large part of what I'm trying to do my videos on, is showing a career beyond the merit badge so scouts can get involved and entertained. And this obviously is for the music merit badge. So to be a To be a university organist and a professor, what kind of rank advancement did you have to do? What does the education and daily life of a pro organist actually look like?
Organists have pretty much three major career tracks available to them, whether playing for church, teaching, or playing recitals. And of course, a lot of organists do some combination of those, if not all three. And so that's just kind of a normal way of life. So all organists are going to practice pretty much every day. The university teachers are going to, well, they're going to teach, they're going to plan, and they're going to practice. And the church musicians are going to practice, 1 or 2 days a week. It just depends on how their job is set up and what other things they have going on in their life. And as far as climbing the ranks, most university professors of any sort are going to start at the assistant professor level. And then they'll get promoted 3 or 4 years later to associate professor. And then they'll get promoted 3 or 4 years later to full professor. And that's about it. That's the 3 ranks of a university professor. Well, we have other ranks. We have people who are not necessarily on that ladder system. They just come in as, say, a lecturer, and they just keep teaching the same class or 2 every semester or so, and there's no more ranks. Although some universities do express their appreciation by promoting some lecturers to, say, senior lecturer. Or there are adjunct professors who are only on campus 1 or 2 days a week. There's all kinds of categories of that. The professor, the assistant professor, associate professor, full professor, those are part of the tenure track system, where a person is tenured over time and is retained by the university until they leave of their own accord.
Makes sense. And then for this degree, so for Joseph, what specifically is your degree? Wasn't it
I'm music performance concentration with sacred music.
and then is there a concentration in the organ, or is that what that is for?
There is organ performance, but I'm sacred music.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if people who said they were organ major, if that's like just called organ major, or if it's called more specific.
It can be either one. All music majors have a principal instrument that they study throughout their time here. And for Joseph's sacred music degree, the organ is his principal instrument. But you're also doing music education on the tuba. Yeah.
I love the tuba. That's an instrument for sure.
It's one there.
Heavy metal.
I played it in high school, well, in 8th grade, I guess. And I don't know, it was fun. I enjoyed it. But I like trumpet better because I like to be loud and obnoxious.
Bright and loud.
You can be loud.
High and loud and bright, yeah, yeah.
Well, I like calling the tiny little trumpet on the field. It's so much easier.
Oh, yeah.
Because Vince told me, like, he brought one of the sousaphones back to my high school when I was still a senior, and I put it on. I was like, do not want to do that. That's too heavy for me. So the next section is going to be about intellectual property, which is always entertaining. You've recorded several albums. In the digital age, why is intellectual property so important for musicians, and what should scouts know about sharing music fairly?
I'm pretty convinced that I haven't seen a royalty check in years, and I know that everybody can access my stuff on Spotify or YouTube or anywhere else. So I don't think any of it's being shared fairly. But I think that the bigger the artist, the more fair sharing that might be going on. But I'm not real sure how that works. It could be just that the sheer volume that, say, Madonna has out there nets her some royalties, whereas mine is kind of a niche market, and so not a lot of people are going to see it. Not a lot of people are going to look for my stuff. Man, that's a tough call because, I am a Spotify subscriber as well, and I enjoy just grabbing anything I want while I'm in the car, mostly in the car. But as far as intellectual property, I'm just glad to have made those recordings. I had something to say in them, I said it, and I'm proud to see them on my shelf. And I'm proud to, every now and then, I'll take them with me when I go play a recital, and some other folks will buy them. But you know, as we know, CDs are on the way out, and most things are now downloaded or otherwise digitized without physical media anymore. But that's just where it was. That's just how things were happening when I made those recordings. When I made those recordings, the CDs were still a thing, and they're not anymore, and that's okay. But I have my small collection of 11 CDs I've made, I think. And a lot of people think that university professors need to do that so that they can stay employed. That's really not true. In the musician's case, my performing is my publishing, as it were, that someone else may need to publish a book or a series of articles, but we musicians just perform all the time, and that's considered our research and creative activity. And then the CDs were just extra creative activity on top of that. And those CDs do belong to me. The university has no claim to those, and the label has no claim to those anymore. The label turned them back over to me. But there's so much music out there that sharing is now just a way of life, fair or not. And I don't know much more about that.
It's interesting. So I've heard about the university research, of course, because my professor's political science, a lot of research gets done, and they kind of just show it to us. They're like, hey, here's what I'm doing.
Oh,
you want to take a look at it? But I forgot my follow-up question. It was something about, no, I remember. So, when they actually record, do they just take the organ and just stick a mic in front of it, or do they stick the mic, like, does the organ go into the computer to, like, record electronically?
Oh, it's done with real microphones. And of course, that's captured digitally.
Well, yeah.
In a hard drive that the engineer has with them, and you know, beyond that, then it's just engineer's choice as to where those mics are going to go, how many of them there are going to be, and you know, and how much of the room they want to capture, because the organ can make a pretty dead sound right there, but when it interacts with the acoustics of the room, then that's worth capturing. And so that's where the genius of the engineer comes in, is how much of the room to capture without muddying the sound of the organ. And my engineer, I had the same engineer for all of my recordings, and he's fantastic. And so he always could just glance at a room and say, okay, we're going to put a mic here, we're going to put mics here, we're going to capture the organ here, we're going to capture the room here, and he would start mixing it. He would probably move microphones twice. And we were ready. He was fantastic.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
He was fantastic, and the recordings bear that out. The tricky part of recording an organ is that if you're going to record it, then you want the recording to sound like that organ. You don't want it to sound like a bigger, better organ in a bigger, better room. Make it sound like the organ that you're seated at. But hey, that's why I chose the organs that I chose. Because they are already iconic, and they're in wonderful spaces.
That's fair. All right, and then, so I have one more question on here, and then I'll ask a more blanket question at the end. So if a scout is interested in music but doesn't know where to start, what is the best first step they can take towards pursuing a hobby or a career?
100%, if scouts are in, what's the age range of scouts?
It's going to be 5th grade to high school.
Oh, so 100% join band, join choir, and take a general music course in your public school. I mean, some of the best experiences from, may I say, all three of us have come from public school music education. So take advantage of that.
That's fair.
Find a piano teacher.
Yep.
Find a piano teacher. The cool thing about the piano is all the notes are right there in front of you. All the right notes are right there in front of you. You just have to hit them.
Well, not if they're out of tune.
Sounds a little too simple, but the piano is a great way to visualize what chords are supposed to feel like under your fingers, and it's very helpful.
I would say that too about the piano, because if I didn't, like, the fact that I've known how to play the piano forever, it means learning trumpet was a lot easier because I knew what the note was actually supposed to sound like and what they looked like versus like, and I've already seen music before, like forever. Okay, and then, it's not written down, but I usually ask this to politicians, but it also kind of just applies in general. So what would you say, mainly for Joseph, what do you want your future career path to look like if you have a broad idea right now?
So when my time here at Appalachian is done, I would like to go get a master's degree on the organ. And I have learned that I love playing for church, and I want to do that at the beginning and maybe my whole career. Probably won't be around here, but somewhere, someplace, I would love to play for church and continue hoping to inspire new people to play the organ, to listen to the organ, and to appreciate the instrument.
And then for Dr. Bell, what would you say your favorite part about playing or teaching the organ has been?
Wow. The whole thing has been great, but I really like seeing the light bulbs come on when people realize that, oh, this works. If I just stick to it and try this or that or the other, hey, this actually works. I sound better. There it is. I think when a student realizes that they sound better, then mission accomplished. And on the side track of that, in my sacred music curriculum, when a student gets back in touch with me and says, you were right about whatever political pitfall I told them about that can happen in a church, when they come back and say, you were right, and now I know what to do about it, then that's definitely mission accomplished.
And then for both of you, is there anything else you would like to add to the camera to be on the YouTube channel?
I'll retire from teaching one of these days, but I won't retire from the organ. And I might branch out in some other things. I might learn how to drive a truck or direct funerals. Who knows?
Bit of a span there.
Yep. Some other interests now.
I'm going to do a video at the Cadwell Community College, like truck driver school, for one another merit badge. So
very good.
I'll put in a word for you.
Get somebody's card for me. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Hopefully they'll let me drive one.
Nice.
Probably not.
I'll let you sit in it.
Take advantage of these opportunities while you can. Take the piano lessons, join your middle or high school band. Do what you can now so you'll appreciate it in 2040.
Take note of the number of adults in your life who quit piano lessons as a kid and they regret it. Take note of all those people and see if you can keep that from happening to you. It's important. Music is a wonderful thing to do.
Awesome. That has been an interview.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We're not done filming. I just like to do the handshake on camera.